Hey everyone, welcome back to Home Design. Have you ever walked into a courtyard that instantly made you slow down? Not because it was huge, not because it was expensive, but because it felt warm, layered, and deeply inviting in a way it almost made you want to stay a little longer without knowing exactly why. That is the quiet magic of a Mediterranean resort courtyard. It is never just about the furniture. It is never only about the plants. And it is definitely not about filling every corner with decoration. The real secret is in the textures. The way stone meets wood, the way linen softens metal, the way warm plaster catches the sun, the way a simple seat wall can feel luxurious when the surfaces around it are chosen with intention. In this video, we are going to explore how to create that feeling at home, step by step, not in a complicated, overly polished way, but in a practical and beautiful way that still feels human, relaxed, and believable. We will talk about the texture layers that make a courtyard feel cozy instead of empty, elegant instead of cold, and resort-inspired instead of staged. And stay with me until the end, because I am going to share one remarkable design detail that most people completely overlook, even though it can change the whole atmosphere of a courtyard almost instantly. Section 1. What makes a courtyard feel like a Mediterranean resort? Before we talk about materials and styling, let's first understand the feeling we are trying to create. A Mediterranean resort courtyard is not trying to impress you with perfection. It feels lived in, sun-washed, and calm. It has texture, but not noise. It has structure, but not stiffness. It feels curated, but never overdone. That is what makes this style so beautiful. It balances rustic charm with quiet luxury. The surfaces are soft enough to feel welcoming, but interesting enough to hold your attention.
When done well, the courtyard almost tells a story. You can imagine the morning light moving across the floor, a breeze brushing the curtains, and the gentle sound of a fountain in the background.
This atmosphere comes from layering. That is the key word here. Layering means you are not relying on one material to do all the work. Instead, you are mixing different textures that complement each other. A rough stone floor might sit beneath a smooth wooden table. A woven chair cushion might rest against an aged plaster wall. A clay pot might stand beside a softened fabric drape. Each element has its own personality, but together they create harmony. In a resort-inspired courtyard, texture is not just decorative, it is emotional. It influences how the space feels underfoot, how the eye moves through the area, and how comfortable the whole environment becomes. Even when the courtyard is small, the right textures can make it feel more generous, more intimate, and more complete. So if your courtyard has been feeling flat, bare, or too new, texture is where the transformation begins. Section 2. Start with the ground. The surface sets the mood. The first texture layer in any courtyard is the ground itself. This is where the tone begins. A Mediterranean-inspired courtyard usually works best with flooring that feels natural, warm, and slightly imperfect. Think stone, terracotta, textured tile, weathered concrete, or even reclaimed pavers. These surfaces carry visual weight. They ground the space. They make the courtyard feel connected to the earth, which is a big part of the Mediterranean feeling. If you want a softer, more luxurious resort mood, consider choosing flooring with gentle variation in tone. A surface that is too uniform can feel sterile. But a floor with slight color shifts, subtle aging, or hand-finished character immediately feels richer. This is why old-world materials are so appealing. They have depth. They catch the light differently throughout the day. Terracotta is especially beautiful because it brings warmth into the courtyard even before you add furniture or plants. Stone offers elegance and durability. Textured porcelain tile can be a smart choice if you want the look with easier maintenance. And if you prefer a more contemporary interpretation, large format pavers in soft beige or sand tones can create a refined base without losing the Mediterranean spirit. The important thing is that the floor should not fight the rest of the design. It should support it. A courtyard floor is like the opening note in a song. If it is too loud, the rest of the arrangement loses its balance. But when it is warm and textural, everything else begins to feel more intentional. A good rule is to choose a flooring texture that feels natural under both sunlight and shade. Mediterranean design is deeply connected to outdoor light, and your ground surface should look beautiful when the sun is strong, when shadows move across it, and even when the evening starts to cool the space down. Section 3. Build the middle layer with walls, plaster, and vertical surfaces. Once the floor is established, the next texture layer is everything that surrounds the courtyard vertically. This is where the atmosphere starts to feel enveloping. Walls in a Mediterranean-style courtyard often have a soft, tactile quality. They may be stucco, lime wash, plaster, stone, or a combination of natural finishes. What matters is that the walls do not feel overly polished. They should have some character, some irregularity, some softness. A smooth white wall can be beautiful, but if it is too flat, the courtyard can feel unfinished. That is why texture matters so much here. Lime wash, for example, creates a gentle movement in the surface. It catches light in a subtle way and gives the wall a sense of depth. Plaster with hand-applied variation feels even more organic. Natural stone walls, on the other hand, introduce a more grounded and timeless feeling. If the courtyard is enclosed by high walls, this vertical texture becomes even more important because the walls are basically the backdrop to the entire experience. They frame everything. A wall with too little texture can make the courtyard feel harsh or empty, but a wall with just enough softness can make even simple furniture and plants feel elevated. You can also use vertical surfaces to create contrast. For example, if the floor is rugged stone, a smoother plaster wall can balance it beautifully. If the floor is clean and refined, a more weathered wall can introduce warmth and authenticity. The key is to avoid matching everything too perfectly. Mediterranean design works because there is always a gentle conversation between surfaces. This is also a wonderful place to add architectural details such as arches, niches, shallow ledges, or inset planters. These features break up flat surfaces and add rhythm. Even a small courtyard can feel richer when the walls have dimension. Section 4. Add the soft layer, fabrics that bring the courtyard to life. Now we move into one of the most important parts of the design, softness. Texture is not only about roughness and age, it is also about contrast. A courtyard full of stone and wood will feel too hard unless you bring in softer materials to balance it. This is where fabrics come in. Think of linen cushions, cotton throws, light outdoor drapery, upholstered seats, and woven textile accents. These are the elements that make a courtyard feel livable. They invite people to sit down. They add comfort without needing to be loud. And they bring a gentle visual softness that is essential in resort-style design. Linen is one of the best choices for this look because it has a naturally relaxed, breathable appearance. It does not try too hard. It wrinkles in a beautiful way. It feels refined, but still casual. That balance is exactly what a Mediterranean courtyard needs. You can use textiles in a restrained way so the space still feels elegant. A few neutral cushions in warm ivory, soft beige, or faded clay can do a lot more than a pile of overly patterned accessories. Curtains, if used, should feel airy and fluid. They can help define a seating area or soften a pergola while allowing light to move through the space. When selecting fabrics, think about the feeling of touch as much as the color. Ask yourself, does this fabric feel cool and natural? Does it soften the hard surfaces around it? Does it make the courtyard feel more welcoming? That is the real purpose of the soft layer. It is not just decoration. It is comfort translated into design. Section 5. Use wood to add warmth and human scale. No Mediterranean resort courtyard feels complete without wood. Wood has a special ability to make outdoor spaces feel human. It warms up stone. It softens metal. It adds a sense of authenticity that makes the whole courtyard more grounded and relatable. You can bring wood in through seating, tables, pergola beams, shutters, decorative screens, or even small accent pieces. Reclaimed wood is especially beautiful because it brings history into the space. It gives the courtyard a sense of age and lived-in character that feels very aligned with Mediterranean style. The finish matters. A highly glossy wood can feel too formal or too modern. A matte, weathered, or lightly rustic finish tends to work better because it lets the grain speak. It also pairs beautifully with natural fabrics and aged stone. Think of wood as the bridge between the rough and the soft. It sits comfortably between plaster and linen, between stone and greenery, between structure and relaxation. That is why even a single wooden bench or table can change the energy of the space. It creates a place where the eye can rest. If your courtyard is small, wood is especially useful because it makes the area feel more intimate. It adds warmth without taking up visual space. And when the wood is paired with neutral cushions or a simple ceramic vase, the result feels quietly luxurious rather than overly styled. Section 6. Bring in woven and handcrafted pieces for character. One of the easiest ways to make a courtyard feel expensive is to make it feel handcrafted. Not manufactured, not too perfect, handcrafted. This is where woven textures become incredibly valuable. Rattan, wicker, cane, seagrass, jute, and similar materials add a human touch that feels right at home in a Mediterranean setting. They create visual rhythm. They add a little irregularity. They make the space feel less rigid and more personal. A woven chair, a natural fiber rug, a basket of rolled towels, or a decorative tray can do more than people realize. These are the details that quietly soften the space. They keep the courtyard from feeling like a showroom. Handcrafted ceramics also belong here. A clay pot with visible texture, a handmade bowl, a planter with subtle glaze variation. These objects connect the courtyard to the artisan spirit that is so central to Mediterranean design. The beautiful thing about handcrafted pieces is that they do not need to be perfect to be beautiful. In fact, their charm often comes from the slight variation. One side of the weave may be tighter. The clay may have a tiny surface irregularity. The color may shift slightly in the sunlight. Those little differences make the environment feel real. If the courtyard is starting to look too polished, this is usually the layer that brings it back to life. Section 7. Let the plants add their own texture. Plants are not just greenery. In courtyard design, they are living texture. A Mediterranean resort courtyard often feels lush, but not messy. The planting is intentional. The forms vary. Some leaves are broad and glossy, others are narrow and airy, and still others drape softly over a wall or pot. That variation creates a sense of natural richness. When you think about plant texture, look beyond color. Consider leaf shape, density, height, and movement. Olive trees bring a graceful, silvery softness. Lavender adds fine, delicate texture. Rosemary has a clean, structured look. Bougainvillea creates dramatic draping energy. Ferns introduce softness if your climate allows. Grasses can move beautifully in the breeze and make the whole courtyard feel more alive. Planters matter too. Terracotta pots give a warm, earthy feel. Stone containers make the planting look more grounded and architectural. Even simple clay vessels can add a lot if they are well placed. Try not to crowd every inch with greenery. A curated mix works better than a jungle effect. The goal is to create texture that breathes. Plants should frame the courtyard, not overwhelm it. A good landscape composition often uses repetition with variation. For example, you might repeat 3 or 4 planters in similar tones, but vary the height and plant type. This creates visual cohesion without monotony. It feels relaxed, but it is still clearly designed. Section 8. Metal can be beautiful too, when it is used gently. Metal is often overlooked in cozy courtyard design because people associate it with coldness. But used correctly, metal can add elegance and structure. The key is to keep it soft in appearance. Aged bronze, blackened iron, antique brass, or brushed metal finishes work far better than bright chrome or anything too shiny. These subdued finishes contribute to the Mediterranean mood because they feel grounded and timeless. Metal can appear in chair frames, lanterns, side tables, railings, plant stands, and hardware. It is especially effective when it provides contrast without dominating the space. For instance, a slender black iron table can look stunning beside a linen chair and a terracotta planter. The contrast helps define the shapes in the courtyard. Metal details are also useful because they create visual clarity. In a space filled with soft textures, you still need structure. A bit of iron or bronze can sharpen the composition and prevent it from becoming too soft or blurry. Think of metal like the outline of a drawing. It should not overpower the artwork, but it gives the form definition. That is exactly what it does in a Mediterranean courtyard. Section 9. Use shade, light, and layered surfaces to deepen the look. Now let's talk about something that often gets ignored, but makes a huge difference: the way textures behave in light. A courtyard is never experienced in a vacuum. It is shaped by the sun, by shadows, by reflections, and by the passing of the day. This means your textures must work not only up close, but also as they change from morning to evening. A rough wall looks different when direct sunlight hits it compared to when it sits in shade. Linen feels softer when it catches the glow of late afternoon light. Stone becomes more dramatic when shadows begin to stretch across it. Even wood reveals more grain under angled light. This is why a well-designed courtyard often feels richer than it technically is. The layers are doing visual work throughout the day. A plain surface can become beautiful when the light moves across it correctly. Pergolas, trellises, curtains, arches, and overhangs all help create this layered light effect. They cast shadows that give the courtyard depth. These shadow patterns are incredibly valuable because they add a sense of movement and intimacy. In many ways, Mediterranean resort style is not only about texture you can touch. It is also about texture you can see in the light. That is why a courtyard with beautiful materials, but poor lighting can still feel flat. And a courtyard with simple materials, but thoughtful light control can feel unexpectedly luxurious. Section 10. How to mix the textures without making the space feel busy. This is where many people get stuck. They love the style. They love the materials. But once they start adding everything, the courtyard begins to feel crowded or confused. The solution is balance. A cozy Mediterranean courtyard should have texture, but not too many competing textures in the same visual field. If the floor is highly textured, keep the furniture a little calmer. If the walls already have a lot of variation, let the fabrics be simpler. If the plants are lush and layered, allow the hardscape to stay more restrained. A good way to think about it is in terms of roles. Every texture in the courtyard should have a job. The floor grounds the space. The walls frame it. The fabrics soften it. The wood warms it. The woven pieces humanize it. The plants animate it. The metal gives it definition. When everything has a role, the composition feels intentional. When everything is trying to be the main character, the result is chaos. So do not be afraid of restraint. Sometimes the most luxurious design choice is knowing what to leave out. An elegant courtyard is not one that is full. It is one that feels balanced. Section 11. Fresh design ideas to make the courtyard feel more special. Now let's add some fresh ideas that can make the space feel memorable rather than generic. One idea is to create a small seating nook with mixed textures around it. For example, a stone floor, a plaster wall, a wooden bench, a linen cushion, and one sculptural planter can already feel complete when the proportions are right. You do not need dozens of items. Another idea is to use a low water feature if your space allows it. Water adds a reflective texture that transforms the mood instantly. Even a very simple fountain can make the courtyard feel calm and resort-like. You can also layer texture through built-in elements. A bench with a textured seat cushion, a niche with ceramics, or a wall ledge lined with handmade pots can all add richness without feeling crowded. If you want the courtyard to feel especially intimate, consider a small overhead element such as a pergola with light fabric or climbing greenery. This creates a ceiling of sorts and helps the courtyard feel enclosed in a comforting way. It also gives you another texture layer to work with. Another beautiful idea is to combine old and new. A rustic wall beside a clean-lined table, a traditional clay pot beside a modern lantern. This contrast keeps the design from feeling too themed or one note. It makes the space feel collected over time, which is often what makes a courtyard feel believable and personal. The best courtyards usually do not look designed in a loud way. They look assembled with care. Section 12. The emotional side of texture. Why this style feels so good. There is a reason people respond so strongly to Mediterranean resort design. It speaks to a deeper desire for comfort, warmth, and ease. Textures affect mood. A hard, flat courtyard can feel unfinished or unwelcoming. But when you layer natural materials, the space begins to feel safer, softer, and more relaxed. It becomes a place where people naturally want to sit, talk, read, or simply pause for a moment. That is the emotional power of a well-layered courtyard. The roughness of stone reminds us of permanence. The softness of linen adds comfort. The warmth of wood creates familiarity. The handmade character of ceramics brings authenticity. The movement of plants introduces life. Together, these elements do more than decorate a space. They change how we feel in it. This is why texture should never be treated as an afterthought. It is one of the main tools that transforms a courtyard from ordinary into memorable. And in a world where many spaces are starting to look overly smooth, overly minimal, or overly perfect, a courtyard with rich texture feels refreshing. It feels human. Section 13. Bringing it all together. So let's bring it all together. A cozy Mediterranean resort courtyard begins with a grounded surface like stone, terracotta, or textured tile. It gains depth through plaster, stucco, or stone walls. It becomes livable through linen, cotton, and soft outdoor textiles. It warms up with wood. It gains character from woven and handcrafted objects. It comes alive through layered plants. It gets structure from carefully chosen metal details. And it becomes truly atmospheric when light and shadow are allowed to work across those surfaces throughout the day. That is the formula. But the real beauty is that it does not have to be expensive or complicated. It just needs to be thoughtful. A courtyard becomes memorable when the textures feel intentional but relaxed. When nothing is trying too hard, when the materials seem to belong together naturally, when the whole space feels like it has been shaped by sunlight, time, and care. That is the essence of Mediterranean resort style. Now, here is the one remarkable point I promised to save until the end. Most people think a courtyard becomes luxurious because of the materials you add. But in truth, one of the most powerful texture layers is actually negative space and shadow. Those quiet open areas are what make the textures feel richer. They give the eye room to breathe. They make the materials look more beautiful because they are not all competing at once. In a Mediterranean courtyard, shadow is not empty. It is part of the design. Once you understand that, the whole space changes. And that is the real secret. A cozy courtyard is not created by adding more and more. It is created by layering with care and leaving enough breathing room for the atmosphere to come through. If you enjoyed this kind of design breakdown, the next step is simple. Use one strong base texture, one warm structural texture, one soft texture, one handcrafted texture, and one living texture. Then let the light do the rest. That is how a courtyard begins to feel like a Mediterranean resort.